Okay, so this is SKED ops for maybe more backcountry rescue in the wintertime environment. So ski patrol backcountry rescue. The SKED is a tool. It's not the end-all be-all tool. There are other tools out there, transport devices, but a SKED, if we can rig it in a certain way that's extremely versatile for us, it'll help a lot, because these things are already a pain in the butt to try to get in places and unfold them. So we'll do a couple of different configurations. The first one is going to be a basic drag out, like Santa's sleigh going through like a narrow skin track. The easiest way to do this is to kind of go in pairs. You can go with like 2 or 3 rescuers up front dragging it. And so let's take a look at our connection points. We have 2 separate pieces of cord, 8 mil each. It's about 35 to 40 feet in length. And these are going to be repurposed for a whole bunch of things. Right now, we are connected in with adjustability on one of the grommets with a prusik on both sides. And then these are where our rescuers are pulling on the skin track. We ditched the webbing completely because it's a pain to kind of try to get this ahead cocooned. And so what we decided to do was use another section of 8 mil and put a stopper knot in the grommet and extend it out, isolate it here. And then also we can adjust now with a prusik that's built in. We can adjust how much we want to collapse this on both sides. The prusik is just pre-rigged and then tied off with stoppers on the grommets as well. So this is slack. We choked it up on the prusik. So the classic drag handle, no more, it's not webbing anymore. This actually allows us to convert and do some limited steep angle lowering or belaying down a slope. So that's perfectly fine. We can ditch this part of it and then transform this into a bridle. I'll show that in a minute. But for right now, it's a drag. Our rescues aren't going to use this because it's limited. We want to get at least 2 people on skis dragging this thing out on a skin track. So I'm just going to lay this in, and it's not in use right now. So let's follow up. So our first rescuer, similar to the way we connect with that terminal end, carabiner, this could be a backpack or any place, most likely a backpack, that's centered and even. And so now our rescuer doesn't have to worry about grabbing a strand and hauling. They just hook in, and then they can use their poles and basically drag as if they were just skinning like normal. It continues on further. We go all the way to the front. And the front is a little more straightforward. In the front, this could be any knot because we have 2 40-foot sections of 8 mil that we just join together with anything. This just happens to be a butterfly. And a simple carabiner clipped in right here to whatever belay loop or their pack or anything. And again, our rescuer up front can use poles and just drag as needed. Since we had a bunch of excess, we could probably squeeze 4 rescuers if we need to. If it was like a really big patient and we actually had to go uphill a little bit, we could bump up and increase our pulling or our dragging power. So this is a good technique just to get through those tight skin tracks that you kind of have to deal with at like trailheads, that sort of thing. Okay, so in this configuration, we're about to proceed and go down a slope. And so we're gonna take 4 rescuers to kind of guide this SKED down a slope. They're going to grab, 1 rescuer is going to be on this line, number 2 on this line, and then number 3 on this one, and number 4 on that one. And what this enables us to do is to treat, it basically gives us 4 ropes out of 2 without having to cut like a rope. And we can adjust on the fly as needed between the rescuers. They just communicate. And that's what this dead leg is here. This is just slack and excess. We can take more out or bring more in based off of the spacing of our rescuers. So you'll see what that looks like in just a second. And so this is just mirroring how we would go about going straight down a slope. And it doesn't really change in terms of steepness. It's going to get to a point where it's going to be too steep or comfortable, and that's when like just a simple belay line or a lowering line will come into play. Cool. This is what it is. So if the pitch is too steep for 4 rescuers to be comfortable going straight to fall line, or if we have to navigate through some cruxes and tight spots that are steep, just like with like a rigid toboggan lower or belay, we're gonna do the same thing with the SCED. This time we don't really need anybody in the front. There's no horns, you can't really brake for this. So you know, this idea of what's safe and what's redundant, we can debate this to the end of time. But what we did, and the reason why we got rid of the webbing up on the head, was to make it easy to dual purpose out our 8mm cord, that's our drag handle, as a bridle. So we just tied it in an overhand knot. So this is our bridle now. Simple equalizing strand. Our handle's just down here. And now I can take the terminal end of one of the 35-40 foot pieces of cord and just tie it in, or use a carabiner. I can just carabiner clip it in. I'm just going to tie it in just to conserve gear. Maybe we're using carabiners elsewhere. So we're hooked in. I've tied both of my 35-40 foot pieces of cordage together, so I can probably go down 65 to 70 feet of distance with this. If I need more, then that's when we'll have to call for more resources, additional improvised rigging. Hopefully we can just, if somebody has webbing, we can always like piggyback and just tie more and more and more together to get the distance that we need. I'm going to hook in a carabiner to one of these handles coming out of the snow gun tower. This could be a tree. It could be a rock. It could be snow. I can make a dead man. If we're really comfortable with it, I could have just a pair of skis in there and have like somebody like braced up against it as like a body belay. Or 2 people here as a body belay. I'm not going to get into that in the video. Like, the options are limited to your imagination. Just be able to improvise safely. Granted, it's not auto locking, so I can use more carabiners, more prusiks to make it more robust. That's why having the 4 carabiners and the prusiks that we had was so great, because if I wanted that extra, like, oh, I want to be able to lock off and go hands-free quite easily. So let me just get rid of that Italian hitch and use more things. So we're going to extend our Italian hitch out to make room for a prusik on the back end. Okay, so this is our extension. Our Italian or Munter hitch is going to be here now. Make sure we got it right there. So I rig my standard Italian. Okay. And so with the brake strand here, I'm going to route this back, and we're going to make a prusik in here. So this is my brake strand here that's routed through a carabiner for extra friction, and I'm going to put a prusik right in here. Okay, so weighted on the system, our standard Munter Italian hitch is controlling the lower, back through change of direction, and Sam is tending the prusik. So if we need a lock, I'll go hands-free, we can do that. Okay, so we're ready for lower? Okay, good to go. Yeah. Okay, so now you can see that our initial 35 to 40 feet of rope is kind of running out, and we're getting to this knot. There are a bunch of ways to do knot passes, but again, let's think about like the objective hazard, risk, benefit analysis and all that. Like if we're doing this for real, we're gonna have enough people here to physically hold and then slowly ease and guide out this line, and then we can re-rig our munter hitch after the knot. That's probably the most intuitive way to do it. So we set this. Now we're going to continue to lower out. Okay, now our Pro 6 engaging here. Now we're completely free here. We DC all this. So all this is gone. And now we just need to continue to extend. So we need to find a way to release this. So enough distance to pass this. So we're gonna go back with another extension.
Suck that munter all the way into that knot.
Yep. There. Put this through a directional. Yep. Get my prusik back in here. Prusik back in. All right, let's see what this looks like. Lock that off. So this will lock again once we release this. And the question is, like, there's no radium load release hitch in here. So the way to release this is actually just to get some hands and then just pull a little bit so we can get the tension on.
There we go.
There we go. All right. And so now we're guiding it down. We're going down. Yep. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, now we're locked back on our new system. A mirror image of the old system, and now we're ready to go the additional 35, 40 feet.
Okay, hang on.
Yep. Going down. Okay, so those are just a few ways to rig up our SKED with just minimal equipment that's fast and light, where we can drag through a skin track. You can go uphill a little bit through a tight section, like on a trailhead, or go straight fall line with 4 rescuers, or traverse a steep line across with 4 rescuers, or lower limited distances, all with minimal gear. So that's SKED Ops 101.